It is the agenda for the 21st century you're living in today. For a brave new world where everything that you cherished and held true will no longer exist.
Back in the 1980s, and I haven't reported a lot on visions, but I'm going to come back to it, because it seems like the things that God gave 30, 40 years ago, God has given us ample time to process it and to believe it. And God has given sufficient warning. So he says something, he doesn't do it right away. But there was something given to Henry Groover back in the 80s, which is he had a vision that suddenly submarines appeared on the shores of America.
Well, it looks like 2 Aquila-class submarines from the Northern Fleet have joined a battle group of Russian naval vessels in the Mediterranean. They say a diesel-powered Kilo-class submarine is sailing into the Mediterranean now with these 2 nuclear subs, and they're saying that all 3 entered the North Atlantic from different ports.
They were undetected and they suddenly appeared. This is even before the movies were made by Hollywood, okay? He got this vision. And the next thing he saw was that the Russian subs launched nuclear attacks on 6 cities in the US. He saw them clearly. Would you like to know what they are? In order, here we go. First city that was hit, completely annihilated, was New York City. Second city, Seattle. Third, San Francisco. Then Los Angeles, San Diego, and then somewhere between Miami and Tampa, Florida. Didn't God say that he would speak to us in the last days through visions and dreams? Isn't that what Joel chapter 2 and Acts chapter 2 told us? Why don't we believe it? If World War III were to start today, I don't think America would be in the strong position that many people assume it would be in. And America may receive a surprise death blow.
Now, with winter just around the corner, China is set to be hit by another cold snap. The National Meteorological Center says the frigid weather is likely to last until November 2nd. Northern regions will see further temperature drops, strong winds, and snowfall. Temperatures in cities such as Harbin, Changchun, and Halhaut will drop below freezing point, with the lowest readings at about -10 degrees Celsius. The 3 provinces in the northeast are also expecting different amount of snowfall in the next 2 days.
A new cold front has brought snow to many parts of northern China. Zhangjiakou in Hebei province has been covered in white, and the city is some 200 kilometers northwest of Beijing. The cold air resulted in an 8-degree temperature drop there. The lowest temperature is now below 0 degrees Celsius, and weather authorities have forecast a 6 to 8 degree temperature drop in most parts of Hebei province in the next few days. While heavy smog has blanketed New Delhi, putting people at risk of respiratory problems. The main cause of the pollution is said to be smoke from firecrackers and burning crops as people celebrated the Hindu festival of Diwali. New Delhi ranks among the world's most polluted cities, with air quality usually worsening at this time of year. India's Central Pollution Control Board said that the level of PM 2.5 more than doubled within a few hours to 750 micrograms per cubic meter in the city's worst affected areas. And that's 30 times higher than World Health Organization guidelines.
As you can see, smoke is still coming from that area. Now, multiple agencies rushed out to battle this wildfire on Colonel Neal Road in Dentville. Now, I did speak with volunteer firefighters, and they told me the fire started Saturday night and it rekindled around 11:30 Sunday morning.
It's still going. It's going to be burning for a week here, probably. Sunday's powerful earthquake, the fourth to strike central Italy in 3 months, has left yet more people homeless. Estimates by the country's Civil Protection Unit put the number displaced at 25,000 since the first deadly quake in August. Sunday's 6.6 magnitude earthquake doesn't appear to have killed anyone, but about 20 people were injured.
Prime Minister Matteo Renzi has pledged that the government will rebuild all homes, churches, and properties destroyed in a string of earthquakes over the past 2 months. Renzi's statement came hours after a magnitude 6.6 earthquake hit the country's central region Sunday morning. The latest earthquake caused significant damage to numerous structures, including the historic Basilica of St. Benedict.
Nearly 600,000 children under the age of 5 die every year from diseases caused by air pollution, and millions more live in places where they could easily meet the same fate. According to a new report published by the United Nations Children's Fund, about 300 million kids around the world are breathing highly toxic air. The report cites numbers from 2012. The majority of these children live in South Asia, where air pollution has reached levels at least 6 times higher than what the World Health Organization has deemed safe. Because young kids' lungs and brains are still developing, toxic air can cause serious health problems. UNICEF's report was released just days before the UN Climate Change Conference is set to begin in Morocco. The organization is urging world leaders to start taking steps to reduce air pollution in their countries.
Police have confirmed 2 people are dead after a shooting inside a party at this building behind me. Among them, 18-year-old Omani Free, who her father says was in her senior year of high school. Police say it happened at about 12:45 inside 119 Broadway.
This morning, pro-marijuana groups are fighting back against what they call scare tactics by the Florida Sheriff's Association about marijuana-infused candy. Last week, we told you how the association warned parents about the threat of marijuana-laced candy showing up in kids' trick-or-treat bags this Halloween. Well, today, Central Florida Normal and Canna Moms are holding a news conference at 11, saying there is no credible danger to children being given marijuana edibles this Halloween. All of this comes on the brink of a vote that could legalize medical marijuana here in Florida. Amendment 2 is on the ballot Election Day, and the Florida Sheriff's Association is opposed to the legislation.
A gas explosion has rocked a coal mine in southwest China's Chongqing municipality. The explosion took place this morning at 11:30 at Jinshango coal mine in Yongchuan district. Now, according to local authorities, 35 miners were working in the shaft at the time of the blast, but 2 of them managed to escape.
The Hinkley Point nuclear power plant was a key issue during the 2 foreign ministers' meeting. The project is in the United Kingdom, but is being built and funded jointly by Chinese and French companies.
This is a great example to the Sino-French cooperation because we jointly bid for a project in a third country's market. We should replicate such models to other areas too, such as in Africa and Asia.
Last month, the 3 countries reached a deal in London to start a project. Over the past 3 decades, the UK has not built a single nuclear plant, but analysts say that as most of the coal plants in the country are expected to shut down by 2025, the UK needs a nuclear power plant.
Let me roll out a potential scenario. It seems as if Hillary Clinton is not aware of this. If she's not aware, she's incompetent. If she is aware, she's evil. But she's pushing Russia. And if a war started out, guess what? It's not going to be between US and Russia. China would immediately take advantage of the US being distracted to acquire the disputed islands. They'll start with Taiwan. They'll go to the Spratly Islands, Senkaku, which Japan claims, but the Chinese call it Diaoyu. They'd immediately take advantage and go. They're building their fleet and their navy. China would build and extend its Great China Wall. It would go all over the South China Sea. In fact, they're already preparing. Under President Xi Jinping, China has taken an aggressive foreign policy, building man-made island bases in the South China Sea. China spends 3 times less on its military than the US does. US has the biggest budget in the world. They spend $610 billion on defense spending, so-called defense. However, China has 1.6 million soldiers compared to America's 540,000. That's roughly 3 times more fighting personnel than America has. And they're all on that coast. China could deploy them in South China Sea. America wouldn't have the manpower. And guess what else would happen? If war broke out with Russia, don't you think that every nation in the world is waiting to pounce? We have the only 33-year-old with nuclear weapons sitting in North Korea. And Kim Jong-un has been preparing for the most opportune attack.
The US military and Japan's self-defense forces have begun exercise Keen Sword 17, 13 days of joint military drills. It's their first since Japan's new security law took effect in March. And the new law has aroused controversy as it expands on the nation's military role. And Japan has sent some 25,000 personnel, 20 vessels, and as many as 260 jets. The Americans are deploying about 11,000 soldiers. The drills are taking place at sites throughout mainland Japan and Okinawa.
Now, these drills have been enabled by controversial legislation pushed by Japan's government under Prime Minister Shinzo Abe last September. The new security laws came into effect on March 29th this year. The legislation overhauled Japan's purely defensive military posture. It allows the country to dispatch troops overseas to engage in armed conflicts for the first time in 7 decades.
Fighting goes on in Aleppo. On Sunday morning, rebel commanders said they made new advances west of the city, taking control of a small suburb there and opening a new front to engage Syrian army units that are already stretched as they try to fend off repeated rebel attacks using car bombs and suicide fighters. But at nightfall, the Syrian state TV reported that the Syrian military is now on the offensive, regaining several posts it lost in the past 72 hours since militants launched a large-scale offensive on Friday at dawn. Moreover, the state news agency SANA said that rebels launched chemical attacks against government-controlled western parts of Aleppo, citing medical sources as saying that they treated dozens of cases that arrived to public hospitals with suffocation symptoms.
A bombshell new batch of WikiLeaks emails now revealing a link between Hillary Clinton's campaign and CNN. Dump 23, that's how many have come out so far, of John Podesta's emails showing Clinton's chief strategist secretly forwarding an email from a CNN source to aides and staffers in the Hillary Clinton campaign titled "Heads Up Between Us." Well, in it, the CNN source alerts the Clinton campaign to favorable poll numbers before the polls release, which is a big no-no. Now, all of this as the secret sharing site warns phase 3 of its election coverage is now on its way.
That's what I'm talking about. Get your ass out of here, kid. That's what I'm talking about. I told your ass. Get your ass out of here. I told you, didn't I tell you? 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 Shut out, ass motherfucker. Ain't nobody.
Liv, don't touch her. Don't touch her. Don't touch her. Let her be. Don't touch her. Don't touch her.
Didn't I tell you? Hey, wait.
Don't touch her. Don't touch her.
Wait. Didn't I tell you about 5 minutes ago that somebody is going to walk by here and no, I would not defend you because you spewed hate and you got hate. You got exactly what you were dishing out. I told you. I warned you on that. Didn't I?
Donald Trump to save you now.
No, nobody called shit. She was the
She ain't hurt. She gonna lay there acting like she
I told you she wasn't crazy. She knows what she's doing.
She gonna lay there like she hurt. Hey, where's Donald at? Hey, where's Donald at? Where's Trump at? Guess what? He still ain't here. I told you though. I told you that shit was gonna happen. I told you, and you looked at me. You asked me as a black man would I defend you, and I told you no. I told you no.
Well, she's waking up.
She been away. She trying to keep her eyes closed. You can see them moving.
This is Hollywood acting, you guys.
Someone give her CPR. Ain't nobody want to put their lips on that. What the fuck? You might as well put your lips on the crack pipe.
This is Hollywood acting right here, you guys.
The thing is, there could be a paramedic right here, but of a different ethnicity.
You know what? The paramedics may have been here if they weren't, Mexican. Exactly.
LA wouldn't be LA.
Hey, I got the start today. What if the paramedic's Mexican, bro? What you gonna do? I'm gonna get this Snapchat of you, because you're looking pretty sad and pathetic.
Do you need some water? I mean,
You don't need it.
do you want somebody to call an ambulance?
I'm telling you, they're gonna be Latin American.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, what?
Isn't Donald Trump supposed to help you? Where's Donald? I'm probably raping some bitch, right? You want me to tweet him?
I don't know. You know what? The ambulance probably, the local PD probably dealt with her before.
What is your reaction to the FBI reopening its case?
As you know, I have been a supporter of Secretary Clinton.
We all know, yes.
Right, you do know. And the but is a big deal, at least to me. Given that this investigation is going to go on for many months after the election.
No matter who wins.
No matter who wins. But if the Secretary of State wins, we will have a president under criminal investigation with Huma Abedin under investigation, the Secretary of State, the President-elect, should she win, under investigation. Harris, under these circumstances, I am actively reassessing my support. I'm not a Trump.
Whoa, wait a minute.
Right.
You're not going to vote for Hillary Clinton?
Harris, I'm deeply concerned that we will have a constitutional crisis if she's elected.
Leading Democratic Party figures and Hillary Clinton's top aides have lambasted the FBI's director for revealing the Bureau's new inquiry into her email use. Reacting to James Comey's letter notifying Congress of the review, one said the FBI chief may have even broken the law by disclosing it so close to the election.